All right, so welcome back to another scene for Red Branch, where, in the wake of bringing home the kin, which was quite the parade, to be sure, Maeve has had some time to linger and honestly, probably to start letting shock set in before finally it was, a warm hand reaching out, touching her arm, grasping it, that stirred her up enough to blink, to get her bearings again, to give Fiona a tight hug, thankfully, easing down to breathe before she did so. But in the wake of it, I imagine everyone's in motion. People are coming to find out who's here, to go seeking the families, to prepare for burials and the final rites. It's not irreverent, but it's probably busy in a weird, subdued way. So after the tight hug, Maeve doesn't linger. She doesn't want to linger. She's done what she can for them, hasn't she? So she turns and she probably walks until she stumbles across, I don't know, the first puddle she finds. Something to get herself across again to, weirdly enough, maybe take solace, at least briefly, in what death spirits have begun to gather. And, depending on how numerous, depending on whether or not they've already come or haven't seemed to recognize yet that the bodies are here, is how long she'll linger before she moves on. Truth be told, if only a few have stirred up on the sept itself, she may even end up going to the tower with a purpose. Though that means I need to swap this real fast.
And the tower. The tower of it's an eerie thing to see a tower that holds such history, but yet it just is so quiet. As you know, the Foreman Tower is the one of the places that took the most heavier, I want to say, damage during the Red Stag Revolt.
I assume even the Umbra looks as it does. Broken, ravaged, beaten up.
Yeah, there you can see the scorch marks. Like, they're faded now, but you can see the remnants of them. You can see where the gang walkway would have been is destroyed. This probably was a part of a wall. You know what I mean?
It probably was. All right. So, just out of curiosity, how many death spirits have begun to gather, or are they still just kind of catching on that there's all this being brought onto Sept?
So say that again. You kind of crackled on me.
Oh, sorry. When Maeve crosses nearer to where all of the preparations are being done, have the death spirits really started to gather in earnest, or are they still just now recognizing that this cargo has been brought? Like, are we talking one or two? Is there a ridiculous giant cloud of them like before?
In the Umbra, there is only one or two this time. They linger. They're always kind of perpetually lingering. You see one probably high up in the stone. You see another that's kind of at the very top of the tower, just sitting off, feet straddled. You know what I mean?
I went back where the bodies were.
Oh, back where the bodies were, there was like 20 plus.
Okay. Then yeah.
Here, they're one or two. They always just seem to have this perpetual linger. Like, I'll put it like this: in the Umbra, it's got a much more regal posture to it, but it's still broken and shatters. But
Okay.
here, though, it almost seems to have the perpetual lingering of the dead spirits. Maybe it's because they're just drawn to this place because you know where this came from, why it's like this.
Things can certainly leave aftershocks that can take generations to fade, if they fade at all. So it's not that she's terrifically surprised. If anything, she doesn't want to linger where the bodies are and be in the way and be not of use. She doesn't want to be underfoot. But here, she looks up, sees even one silhouetted at the tippy top. That's enough. This is as good a place as any, isn't it? And she, climbs that way towards the tower, towards whatever entrance may remain, if any, or likely places where the rubble has long since settled. And just kind of goes to climb into the place. If she has to do some scuttling, so be it. If not, awesome. She'll just walk inside.
And you kind of walk inside and you just feel the empty brokenness of the place. It just feels broken. It feels lost.
She just walks probably into, would you say there's like a big room of sorts at the, where you walk in? What all is she walking into? Let me ask that.
Much like the picture is, you're just walking into like an empty tower. You'll see the broken stairs and you just look up. This is much like probably what the Weird Tower, maybe it's kind of like the Weird Tower. Part of it is broken off. And part of it is disconnected. It's like, imagine what would happen if the Weird Tower was destroyed. Maybe this is a halfway point. And maybe this is the only point now. Because that's what it looks like. Part of it was just shattered.
Yeah, she just wanders into that kind of center spot, looking up over the broken walls, over the toppled stone, the old scorch marks. Probably eventually eases towards one of the walls to run her fingers along it. Just, let's face it, right now she feels broken. And this seems like the place to be, to feel that way. It's just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? A sympathetic connection of sorts. So she reaches over, touching the walls, running her fingers, walking around, looking to see if there's any way up. And honestly, just kind of slowly letting the shock and dismay catch up with her again. She's only going to be upright for so long, one way or another.
And eventually, you pitter around and you see some of those crows just kind of watching you curiously. They're kind of just studying you, really. Not really saying anything. They just watch. You've gained their attention now because, well, if you're in the Umbra, you are a bright lunic spirit just after entering this place, and it takes them off guard because brightness and sunshine in such a dark and dreary place, even in the Umbra, there's no worm taint or anything. It just, you can feel it in the air, probably even more so in the Umbra. You know what I mean? You feel what's happened here. You feel everything.
You know what? Seeing as she does have their attention, let me grab this. Again, she is rasped out. She has been doing a lot of everything. And the throat, it's one of those things when you're upset, when you're trying to cry, trying not to cry, your throat tenses up. So it's not the best singing voice that even she could normally produce. So she's not trying to be as fanciful with it, but looking over at him, she's almost saying it more than singing it. She goes ahead and, eventually puts her back to the wall and scoots down, sitting. And she's not scared of them at all. If anything, they're comforting. They're just, when it comes to things like what have happened in this place, what have happened to the kinfolk, it's just matter of fact for them. It's what they are and what they do. And there's something oddly calming about their ease with death. And the lyrics just suit. She always thought it was so strange. It's such a pretty song, but if you really listen to the words, it's like some horrific force of nature is the thing that's singing out to the person. So, what better moment?
Just see, let me just get the picture so I can edit these properly because I get my spirits. My spirits. And again, one flits down this slow, like alien movement. You know what I mean? And again, it doesn't, your voice is all airy and beautiful and, alive. This thing, it doesn't sing back to you. It doesn't do any of that. No, it just, when it lands beside you and kind of clips off the shoulder, you do feel that emptiness hit you. That, again, nothing sad, just void. It's not trying to like make you feel negative.
No.
But it's just the way of things.
It is. It's essentially just nothing but like rock solid acceptance. You can't argue with that. Grieving is a process. Acceptance is a state. These things are made of acceptance. So no, she just continues, and it's, again, the voice is raw, but she doesn't seem at all bothered by the company. If anything, she probably, without thinking, because it's what she does, especially with bird spirits, offers out the hand, the arm. Probably finally, as she's getting into the course of the song, it's, more speaking than singing by then. And even then, she's starting to stumble and tear up and kind of start to fall back into it. But she still offers the arm out.
He takes a couple of measured steps onto the arm. Doesn't really say anything initially, but just kind of glances into your little bright lunatic eyes and just stares at you. Almost as if you're wanting to speak, go the fuck ahead. I will wait in my own time, sir.
The real shocker for the poor death spirits. She's not trying to get anything. She just is appreciating it.
It's more that if you're going to speak, you'll speak. You know what I mean? That slow acceptance of things.
Yeah, when it eases up the arm, she carefully, gingerly lifts it. Probably props the arm over her knee so that it won't like get tired from the weight of even a smaller spirit on it. And just with the stray hand, might lightly try to ruffle the feathers at the front, but honestly, besides the one brush, just the I appreciate you kind of gesture, doesn't try to have a philosophical conversation or ask for something. She just seems to be here to appreciate it and to indulge in its company. If nothing else, maybe it's sitting on her and giving that sense of numbness will. I mean, it's essentially reaching after a new crutch. Maybe if she could just, jump all the way to the end of the process right to acceptance, that'd be great.
And he just leans forward, but more accurate description. Grief is not something we indulge us alone.
I thought that maybe here in your place with you it would I would remember to accept. That is hard.
Acceptance and true forms of understanding are two very different things.
I suppose if acceptance was easy, we'd never fear. I think we'd still grieve.
Grief is something that will take always for you humans and Guru. For your rage always dictates the acceptance.
I'm not very good at accepting. Just the saddest, wryest attempt at a smile. It's weak, man. Does no one else visit you here?
One or two come, but most try to avoid the pain that they truly never want to see. We are just a reminder. We come because of the knowledge and the energy that still lingers here.
Looking away from the past doesn't change it.
True, but most people would rather not look to the past constantly as a crutch, while you Fianna of Stag bear it as a mark of pride. The shameful ones are that much harder to gaze at openly. Even you are not doing that now. You are trying to understand your own rather than understand the collective.
I can only imagine. I could never, I don't think, say that I understand. That wouldn't be fair. Not to them. Seen what happened in the other places. Not what happened here. Were you here then? Do you remember?
We always remember.
Would you show me so that I could try to understand?
Do you truly wish to see, or is this another way to deny the grief that you carry?
I don't think anyone ever really wants to look at pain. That doesn't mean that you can just indulge in not looking. And my own pain will still be here afterwards. It's not like it's going to go away. I know that. I wish it would. That's not how it works. Oh. Finally, there's a little bit of a nod, just kind of some sort of state of acceptance with what's been said. I'll ask again. But I'm not already failing to face my own pains.
All right. Well, the crow pecks your forehead.
Ugh.
And Maeve. Hey, buddy.
You know, I wasn't ready.
No? Well, you asked for this, but...
I did. I did this to myself. I can't even be mad.
So you see many Fianna in different... You recognize... I'll put it like this. You recognize the armor of Red Branch there. The tower is burning. People are fighting. There are all sorts of terrifying monsters crawling around the place. This is... They're holding, but they're not holding very well. There is... It's monstrous. You see a noble member of the McCarthys lift his hammer and begin to charge and engage in a fearsome duel with this.
Oh.
And that man, the McCarthy, is slain. But another one takes his place, bravely hefting up the sword as she reaches up and catches it and begins to clash, driving him back momentarily, enough so that the forces can rally. And that woman that you see in the draconic-like armor, she looks probably around your age, Maeve.
I'm not gonna lie, she's just staring in shock. As these two armored giants clash.
Again, you'd see the person, you recognize the McCarthy emblem of the stag as he gets cleaved down, where she runs over and picks up the sword that he had and begins to just stand there, brave and defiant. And that's where the memory cuts back to the crew. But you saw that tower was burning.
Jars back, and it takes her a second. The blinking, the reorienting, and almost immediately, without thinking, she just looks up at the ruined remains. Did anyone even have a chance to die to the fire?
Many died in the fire.
How many did you carry?
6.
Again, it's thoughtless, and she really would probably kick herself normally, thinking it irreverent, but she kind of raises the hand, and again, it's if you've ever seen people with birds do the little brush at the breast feathers, just with the back of a finger. Again, it's meant to be a little, I don't know, appreciative gesture. Thank you for being here when they needed you.
We are always here. Always and evermore.
I hope. Kind of catches herself, and again, it's just that little brush from the finger. I hope that the last time I see you, I'll know better than to be afraid.
Many will try, but many still are.
I think all things are afraid of what they don't understand, not even just us. It's hard to be afraid, or hard not to be afraid, when you don't know what's going to happen. But thank you all the same. Did they see you in there in that moment again?
No, they cannot. Some were brave and earned the right to enter lands. Others were given to the inevitable cycle.
I wish I could be so calm. The hiccuping starts. Just
You are but half of the spirit, and then again, the moon holds sway over many emotions. Do not wish for something that you not have.
what should I wish for then? I think I only ever wish for things that are impossible.
That is the folly of mortality.
I feel like there's a lot of folly. Just kind of like nodding, still doing the like hitch breath thing. And I'm not gonna lie, it's
Mm-hmm.
she's talking to it because it's there and talking to her, and she can ask some questions, but other things, if she keeps going, it's going to get repetitive. And honestly,
Yeah, you get the
besides,
impression that was the last it's saying, because it's just like, and that's what you get for being human. I mean, it's not an insulting way, but it's that, well, that's the folly of being mortal. You get to think about these things.
that's just your fucking condition. That's a shame, buddy.
Mhm. And yeah, it just flies off. It's not being a dick. It's just so matter of fact.
Yeah. The conversation was something, but especially with it flying off, she's at least affirmed why she's there. The others will probably have an idea of the fact that she's just there. And she doesn't mind them, but she's not there to hassle them for something or another, which I imagine is a rare change. Yeah, truth be told, once it's flown off, the knees just come the rest of the way up, the arms go across them, and she's probably just gonna have herself a hell of a cry. And then something weird happens or changes.
Or you probably see a figure like walking up towards the thing. Judging by the I'll put it like this: Fiona's not hard to fucking recognize in the Umbra.
No, he's not. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever done that thing where you get upset enough and you've just decided, well, that's it. I'm crying now. And just every time you start to calm down, you think of something else that makes you upset and you commit 110% to this cry. It's pretty much what she's been doing, albeit with the silhouette there, she'll finally start trying to pump the brakes, which means that she's like the choke, hiccuping kind of mess by the time he gets there because you can't pull back that fast. As he comes up, she'll be doing like the across the face arm rub.
You just stare at her. You look lonely.
She's still doing that kind of hiccuping, hitching shoulders thing, but there's just kind of a nod. I I uh I didn't want to. I don't know. Just the most defeated little look. Like I had like 3 excuses and none of them is forming into a whole sentence. I don't know.
Very few things like this are ever easy to see. You are not the first, you will not be the last guru to be faced with a massacre.
No. I just I I don't know what to do except cry. And then I don't know what to do.
He just watches you for a bit, like studying you.
And it's I mean, lost is a good word for how she's looking right now. I mean, it's kind of pitiful. Then again, pretty solid bet this is the first thing she's ever seen that's anything on this scale. So, no real surprise there.
Maeve, this will not be the first massacre site you'll see. These will not be the first worm creatures that you'll face which will do horrific things to people to get into your head to make you feel like this right now. They will cause you great emotional pain, and they will banish every bit of hope that you have in your system. And if you let that happen, you have pretty much guaranteed your own death. And the death of those you try to save, or the vengeance you try to reap for it.
And the big, just plaintive look she throws him. It's kind of just peering up from the, from where she's kind of tucked her face into her arms. Just, how do you still hope after that? And after something where the best you can hope for is something you'd never want to hope for. Things you would normally hope would never happen. Especially to them. It feels wrong to hope that people are just dead. It doesn't even feel like hope anymore.
Now you're starting to sound like your alpha.
Not like Sean. I've seen people get hurt. I have lost people I cared about. But I've never seen something so bad that I walked to find someone hoping they'd be dead when I got there. And I don't like knowing that I did. I never wanted to hope for that.
Perhaps, maybe, Maeve, you should start realizing that in order to have hope when great deeds of evil are done, perhaps hope is given way to vengeance and pain.
It's funny because she has to actually chew it over. You can tell that the knee-jerk reaction is to want to counter it or deny it or spin it a different way. But she actually kind of catches herself short. Is that what we do when you can't hope anymore? Get revenge? One, two.
He just seems to be oddly silent, staring at you. It's like
You
I'm
can
not
tell she's working through it.
Yeah, he's just watching her again. Fiona's odd in the Umbra. All these silences are very deliberate, Katie. I'm not being a dick.
It's funny because it's slow, but she starts kind of hitching along, kind of putting things together. It's like what makes sense, doesn't it? Does that mean we go back?
It depends. Do you want to be wallowing, or do you want to do something about it?
I don't want to do nothing. It's like it's hard to stand up. It's easy to cry. It's easy to remember their faces and the way we found them and cry. It's a lot harder to stand back up. That big one. Still out there, and the horn blower is still out there. It's just hard to move. She finally is looking back at him,
He
kind
again
of
doesn't
studying
speak.
back.
And again, I apologize if you think I'm just stonewalling. No, it's just Fiona's odd like that, and he's an odd person to play. But he eventually just reaches over to catch you.
What is he catching exactly?
how much the tears are starting to outweigh any resolve that you do have. How hopeless is Maeve actually?
Maeve is still trying to find something to hope for. So there's something to be said for the fact that she's still kind of struggling and trying. But it's obvious that a lot of it is floundering. She's not lost and she's not giving up. I mean, she is lost, but she's not just laying down and giving up. She's trying to reach and think and find something. And that's kind of why she keeps talking. She's just trying to work it out loud, and none of it's hitting her. It's not resonating right. It's not something she can latch onto with both hands. She's essentially pawing around in the dark for a fucking, an escape rope. And she's not finding it, but she's still looking. That's why, like, after a certain point, she does kind of look over at him and just try to understand him, because he's there. He's part of the environment now. What about you?
I am resolved to make sure that the perpetrators of this crime are punished. My sadness is but irrelevant to the pain of others that swarm around me.
Do you still feel your own? Do you just get...
I feel every inch of it, every pained glance.
It's clear on her faces. She's just trying. She doesn't ask it out loud because it's such a trite thing to ask, but you can tell she's just trying to figure out how he does it. Does it mean you're always hurting? Because someone is almost always hurting. Lips nervously roll in because it is a personal question, in all fairness.
Say that bit again, you crackled again. My signal's been a bit poopy.
She, like, the question she asked, or?
Yes.
She kind of looked at him and said, does that mean you never stop hurting? Because surely any time someone nearby is hurting over something. And, like, after a pause, rolls the lips in kind of nervously because it's technically a very personal question.
Depends, Maeve. For me. Depends on what I feel and see. It depends on what things that I am whispered into my ear every night, the dreams that I feel, everything. Perspective. You have the grace of the moon. I have the grace of pain. Blessed, both by Gaia we are, but mine is a far different burden and joy that we hold.
But it means you're here.
I never said it didn't.
She actually picks her head up a bit again, kind of regrets the room. Are you here because I am, or did I just...
I come here all the time to gain a better understanding of the pain of those who have come and gone.
Oh. Must be so much. She finally tips the head back to look up again, up to where, the tower cut short where it's scorched the worst, because, fire burns upwards. I guess as much pain as there is, and as many terrible things as there were, there were the people who didn't just give in to it. And picked up a dropped sword and kept fighting.
That is Nessa for you.
She was so much younger. But she didn't pause.
No.
She finally, puddles in the knees a little bit, gives her arms a squeeze around them, looking over. How do I do what you said before without losing myself in it? Because you're right. They deserve to be grieved. They deserve tears. It's okay. It's stopping. It's hard.
It is.
How do you know when to stop?
When it feels like you are falling into a hole that you'll never climb out of.
And actually, where has Fionn put himself during all this?
He's just been sitting on the wall, kind of just gazing up at the tower as if it's some sort of new thing. Like, ooh, look at this. Whoa.
Between bouts of staring. Can I just sit with you here for a while?
If you wish, ma'am.
There's a little bit of a nod. She just, again, it's not quite giving up. She just stops trying to reason it out because there's no reasoning that makes any of it okay. Just that's not how it works. But she will probably get up and come over and plunk closer and just sit for a while. Try to keep her crybaby face to a minimum. Well, eventually she'll probably climb up unless he's is Fionn deviating from his perch and stare methodology.
Nope.
Bless him. Is he perched high enough up that she can't reach him very well?
Yes, he's almost, it's like, I'm just going to stay right up here away from everybody because this is the place where I like to be the most. If anything, you could maybe ask Fionn. Fionn can't even reach him where he is.
What?
The second dead spirit bird.
Oh
He's
no.
high above you. Oh, Fionn is like right beside you, Katie.
That's
Fionn,
what
I
I
thought you
was-
meant the other bird. Yeah, no, Fionn is like right there.
Yeah. If Fionn's just doing his thing, even after a while, she'll eventually go to climb back up. And honestly, even if she's she's getting red in the eyes from all of the crying and then the eye rubbing and then the crying some more and the eye rubbing again. But she will get up, and as she does so, will probably, to thank Fionn, like lean over to give him a peck on the cheek or something, even if he looks horrifying right now.
He feels weird and fleshy. He'll look up. Do you know who that bird is or why it's there?
That one?
Yes.
That one didn't talk to me. The other one did. That one, something different. She actually, seeing as she's gotten up, will pitter pat a little further to see if, like, changing the angle, changing where the moon shines on this thing will make it more visible. If it is different, she'd wait. Surely he's calling attention for a reason.
That is the remnant of my father. I am a second cousin to the McCarthy family. That is Colm Teagan. Not his soul, but the memory of his falling. The Teagan family were sub-servants to the McCarthy line. He died fighting the tower here. Nessa reached up and picked up his blade to keep fighting.
All the way up there?
All the way up there. If part of the top tower collapsed, so the true area of the duel cannot be truly shown. That is where he died. On the stairwell.
Has it spoken to you?
No. I merely watch it and assess my own pain and check myself of my own pain. For when I falter and cry and hate,
Does it ever hurt any less? Look at him.
no, but it reminds me of my role. Every time I feel weak, I look at it and remind myself that the pain I feel is but one of thousands of guys' screams every day. I remind myself that my father and Nessa McCarthy and all the others who died or stood did not have the time to self-reflect on their grief. They merely acted and chose the path that they chose.
think you're a much stronger man than most of us give you credit for, Antigan.
I am not a man who decides to brag about his strengths. I am just the guide that guides you all to realize your own. I am but a servant, a teacher, and the messenger that the pain is temporary, but the act that you choose to do with it will be forever.
And
So
who
don't let.
teaches?
Who teaches me? You smile. Gaia teaches me. I have higher ranks that I obey, but I take the wisdom from what I see and what I learn. That will be your role one day, when you are no longer thinking of just your own grief.
There's always finally got the mind moving. It's a little bit of it's a distracted kind of nod because you can tell it's maybe it's that little bit of a squint to the eyes, maybe it's the fact that her focus has changed from something right there to just kind of off in a direction. But she starts thinking. And what do you do when this many people are in pain? There has to be. She finally looks towards the exit. There has to be something.
You simply be the thing that they rally towards. Look at your Alpha, look at your Ragabash and your Galliard. They wallow and try to do things in order to make themselves function. That will never work. Be the thing that they are. Suffer with them, but not suffer because of them. Do not chain yourself down. Act. Do the things that your gut tells you you should do because it is the right thing to do, not because it is politically correct, or not because it is convenient for your own grief. Take heed and walk the walk. You've done enough talking.
Again, it's a kind of a distracted nod as she's looking out from admittedly the tower is, if I remember the picture right, is kind of up a bit on a hill. So it's just looking out and over through the exit. And they come home at night, don't they? So it's probably still the early hours of the morning at best. Is Christopher okay?
He is managing. See him for yourself. I will not tell you all free secret to guide. Pats her shoulder like, can't be that easy, buddy. You know what I mean? I can't help you with everything. Pat, pat, pat. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Sometimes.
she doesn't necessarily expect a dissertation, just...
It's almost like it's not like he's mocking you. It's this gentle, like, it's that kind of gentle reminder of, well, you talk the talk, now go on. Go on. Go
It's funny. The pat works. She's moving. She's not sure where she's going, but she's going somewhere. So stepping out from the tower, Where has all of this been laid out? Where is that cloud of death spirits?
The clouds, they're not really here. There's just one or two. The dead spirits really are probably where the people are being buried or the bodies are being laid. That's what you mainly see. They're all kind of there lingering. You know what I mean? They're going to
Yeah.
do it anyway.
Yeah,
But
she's just
they're not making any trouble. You know what I mean? They're
no, she's
just
just
dipping and bobbing.
she's just looking out, kind of like that, looking out past the tower towards the various parts of the sept, looking to see if because the cloud of spirits is the best indication to where things are. She doesn't expect them to be a bother. It's just that's a landmark at this point. Until the deaths have been fully dealt with, that's going to be there. So she starts just puttering out and looking, scanning, just anything. She's back in motion. This is good. She's also looking to the east to see what kind of time she has.
In what sense?
I mean, the dawn is a thing.
It is. You've got about 3 hours before dawn hits.
Hmm. What can I do? I need to get that right. So I guess at this point she just, at least initially, putters out and is just looking to see who's not involved in the chaos. Whatever landmarks are closest, or just kind of getting the lazy eyeball.
I'm gonna say you probably in the Umbra you'll see the classical towers. I'm trying to think now. Really, that's the problem. I'm trying to think at the minute of what you're looking for because I'm a bit. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a bit confused.
It occurs to me that being in the Umbra is not the best way to do this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm a bit
I forgot. Honestly,
Yeah.
even Maeve's not thinking in the moment. It's kind of that she looks around and there's nobody, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, what are you trying to do? Because I'm a bit confused here now. You kind of caught me off guard.
There was the thought of doing something with the Dawn, but she's not very well versed. And the Twilight Song would have been a good start, but she doesn't have that right yet. So no, she's puttering down and probably realizing on her way out, like, why don't I see any? Oh. Because I'm a ditzy Theurge. Okay, hold on. Marches to a puddle.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, once she's across and, aha, now I can find people because they're here. Aha! Just kind of sets off to see how people are situated and to see if there's anything she can pick up on besides just the chaos of trying to deal with the situation. Are the Theurges, any of the Theurges, off planning something? Is the Right Master nearby?
Right Master is busy tending to the bodies.
Oof. Yep. Nope. I'll just leave that. Fuck it. She knows where her pack is. That's an easy find. She'll default back to them, but she will go kinda snooping and pooping around for well, at the very least, if she can find Chris or Will, she might be able to find even more. Or Chris or Danny, I should say. My bad.
You can find Danny. Danny looks pretty sleepy, to be honest. He's kind of just probably just come off after doing something. He looks exhausted. Again, it's the middle of the fucking night.
Aw, Danny.
Where are we now? And he just looks at you with this kind of the sleepy like yawn.
I meant Daniel, but that works too. I shouldn't have
You
used
said that.
slang.
Yeah, exactly. Danny goes by Danny.
Sorry.
And he just gives this yawn like, huh?
There's like the oh hi.
Something you need.
Oh god, there's 2 Daniels and a Danny. Fuck me.
Yeah, but one goes by his
No, you're
deep
good.
name.
You're good. I'm just trying to find all my shit.
You've only met Rattling Nettle as Rattling Nettle. He doesn't go by Daniel.
This is true.
You said Danny, and he
I did
goes by
say
Danny.
Danny.
You did.
I messed up. I do that.
You did.
And now I'm committed. Yeah, as she putters by him, it's just the glance and have you seen any of the Children of the Oak?
Yeah, I've seen Orla's. I don't know where the fuck she is, but she was somewhere near where the kinfolk were gathered. Christopher McNamara's gone home, and I think Daniel is just after coming out of the graveyard area.
She throws a weak smile and just thanks. Appreciate it.
Gives her like a pleasant, half tired, like I'm sleepy, smiles, then we'll just proceed to walk because he's probably on watch and he's like,
Poor guy.
you literally see him like slump against the rock, like just no.
Oh, Danny.
But yeah, like you said, you will see the other Macnessa walking. You know, he's got that tired look in his face. You know what I mean? He's probably been assisting the right master because he's a Galliard. You know what I mean? So he's like, fuck it. He was probably the first. You know what I mean? I think him and Kara were the only Galliards there, so he offered to do it as well. Essentially, letting Kara take a breather. He just looks a bit tired. You know what I mean? You can just tell he just looks fucking tired, if anything.
Daniel will be beset upon. Which, I mean, honestly, it's just her approaching and kind of leaning down to do the wave, like, hey, buddy. Because he's half asleep. Or at least really, really weary looking. Just the wave.
Hi, Ev. Bet she kind of catches you just. Ugh.
Ugh. Hey. Is How are you holding up? She said with like the big red eyes and everything. Like, she is very evidently in a moment of fucking stability between bouts of fucking upsetness.
You look tired as well.
if I can sleep, but I'm tired. What about you?
Even more tired.
The most tired?
No, I just takes a toll on you after a while.
Thanks, by the way. I wasn't all there earlier, but I remember seeing you talking to the voice. You hear me, but
Mm-hmm. He pauses and he thinks. Yes, it is. A trying thing, Miv. I hope you're doing better.
like there's that pause. I'm trying to. You headed home?
He just reaches over and like gives her shoulder a squeeze.
Are you sure you're hearing me?
I know, I'm the fucking my thing is breaking up and I'm getting really frustrated because I'm catching bits of you and everything is freaking out at me. So give me 1 second and I'm gonna refresh.
Okay.
There we go. All right, now can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, God, you don't sound really crackly. There's something was going on with the fucking
No.
thing. So you do not sound crackly. Thank fuck for that. So
No, she said, essentially, I'm trying to be better. There's no telling how well this will stick, essentially, but I'm trying. And then she did glance over and probably has fallen into step, or just if he's stopped, is just facing him to talk. But you headed home?
so you say that again? I actually couldn't hear you because you mumbled it a bit.
I'm just a mumbly bitch. She asked if he's headed home.
Yes. Fiona is planning to do things early in the morning for the family, as far as I think my job is done for now.
She finally reaches over just to. How does he pause? Like, are they walking and talking? Are they facing each other?
Faces you. Just stopped, like, because I'm assuming you just walked right up to him, so he just stopped
Yeah.
walking. You know what I mean?
She does then reach up and kind of give his shoulder a light squeeze. It's just like, get sleep.
I don't sleep much.
Just Starts chewing thoughtfully on her lip. Does anything help?
No, it is more. I'll sleep for an hour or two, and then I will not need it.
Oh. Wow. Really? Just
Yes.
this is it just caught her offside. Just oh.
Yes. It is a common occurrence among some guru, I'm told.
Wow. I know you'd said before you didn't sleep a lot, but I don't think I really followed what you meant. Okay. Oh? And I hope it's a very good hour or two.
I've already slept. I'm
Blinks.
merely going home because I've been ordered to go home. I've done enough, apparently. I slept before the raid, only so I'm fresh. I catch an hour or 2 hours before we go out. I slept in the little alcove of the tower while we were busy losing ourselves for a couple of hours, and I was up and refreshed and ready.
Oh.
With a smile, like a little smile, as if, haha.
I'm a genius.
Although the weather was quite unpredictable, so give that smile. If I woke up very wet,
It finally, I'm not gonna lie, it's just of all the stupid shit to confess to, it actually pulls a smile on her. That seems like a very bold miscalculation, sleeping in a window.
I am many a bold thing, but a weatherman, I have my failings. I hope your pack is doing well. I know they were quite as much as any of us were. Taking it hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us have ever seen anything like that before. Nothing like that.
No. Neither have I.
How did you stay so calm?
Who says I was calm?
There's like the pause, the blink blink.
I'm sure your alpha will say many a harsh thing about me, considering we buck at each other. I'm sure many other people will say different things. But I focused on making sure the people around me were the ones productive and moving. That is how I stayed to what you call calm.
I guess I wasn't really listening. Sean must have gotten mad. I remember
He did, he was.
yelling.
But that is, again, nothing to judge over.
Oh. No, of course not. Is Orla okay?
She is managing.
Okay.
That is the most polite way I can put it.
This is a bobblehead.
And are you alright?
Uh, no, but If I stop moving, I'll start crying. So I'm trying not to stop moving.
Well, I'm afraid that's so far not going very well, seeing as we're stopped here and talking.
Talking counts as
So I'm afraid
something.
you'll have to jog on the spot, otherwise we'll have water work.
That's not how it works.
That's from what you told me. If you stop moving, you will
I
start crying. You are literally
didn't
not
mean
moving.
physically.
So I'm afraid. Kind of gives that awkward grimace. but,
Finally, like just reached over, like, bleh!
see,
Fucking.
see, you were already starting to cry.
Why?
Smile.
Why? Why would you do that? Just. It's just. She's so disbelieving. You could tell she's never had a kid brother, or she would know exactly what was going on.
I'm afraid, Maeve, you have to be a bit more specific.
Or Galliard's all about the fine details now instead of the artistic license. Is that what's happening?
You can't have artistic license without fine details.
Well, artistic license means you can make up the fine details.
Potato, tomato. Smiling.
What? Those aren't even the same word. The most belligerent, like she looks offended almost, just like, huh.
I'm sure nobody will hear. Nobody heard anyway, so I think I have escaped for now.
Can I hang out with you? Just like Beggy face immediately turns on.
Okay. He just gives this kind of bemused like, oh, all right then.
Oh,
What did you think I'd say no?
I don't know. Everyone's. I wouldn't have been mad. Just would have totally cried. Sage nods. Like tries to pull off the I'm a badass. I would have just cried, and I can make fun of that because I wouldn't have actually just cried.
You look like you need sleep, if anything.
I don't always sleep so good, so I thought if I put it off until I am completely exhausted, I can
He just takes her by the hand and starts walking.
just
So it's like, he just sighs with the. You just get led by the hand.
She is led. She does not fight this at all.
And you arrive at the McNamara Manor. Well, the inside of the proper castle. You get led to the rooms. It's the middle of the night. He is quiet. He opens up his door and lets you walk in.
Oh.
Just gives that slow close.
Not gonna lie, it's because I assume this is not the same room she was in before. This is
Nope.
Oh.
This is his room. This is his room.
Ugh. Scandalous.
Curtains are pulled. Bed's a bit messy, but it's very I wouldn't say super clean. It's got a lot of knickknacks in it.
It's just a lived-in room, a guy's room. It's a boy's room.
It's there is a lot of model paintings.
What?
Mm-hmm. Of ships.
Aw. Of ships?
Yep.
God damn it. Yeah, she just kind of catches herself looking around like, oh, she's in a
You can
boy's
see
room.
like a classical, like there's a guitar probably thumped against the wall. There's posters, and you know what I mean. It's a guy's room.
Gotta have the token acoustic guitar. That's just
No, it's an electric.
He's not that guy. He's the other guy.
Nope. There's electric. It's a Fendergast.
Yeah, she's just while he's like doing the quietly closing up and everything, she's just looking around like, oh,
There's
at
like
everything.
books, comics, It's typical, like Daniel's, I think, same age as you. It's a typical 19-year-old's room.
All right, but the important question, because she will start drifting when she sees like a bookcase. What's on the bookcase?
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, a lot of all the Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion, the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. There is then we've got some more like adult books, you know what I mean, like To Kill a Mockingbird. There's a lot of like mix of fantasy and like stuff that's exciting, stuff that tells a story, stuff that captivates.
You know what? By the time he turns around, it's very possible she's just doing that thing where you run the very barest tip of your fingers across the bindings, reading the titles, just like, oh. This is. I have a lot of these. Or had a lot of these.
Well, they are very popular, I hear.
Like, flicks the glance back over her shoulder, like, her. Well, yeah, but how many of us have book collections, really?
Gives a shrug. They're kind of like meh. You know what I mean? It's that kind of non-plus, like, I ain't ashamed of it. There's a couple of books on horse riding too, like different, like, you know, like animal husbandry. You know what I mean? That type of shit. Because you imagine he would have to know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, she brushes the fingers across them and kind of grinning to herself, stops pointing at one of the bindings. It's just the whole, in a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit.
Yes.
Look, it's not a lot of people read the same books I do.
The Hobbit I prefer Lord of the Rings to The Hobbit, but it's still a good book when I was younger.
It was a very good bedtime book, I'll have you know.
There's a shrug like me. Yeah. Like he ain't disputing it. He's just me.
Yeah, she finally drift back over.
There's a couple of photo albums as well. Like photo, you know what I mean? Like they're in the what are they called again? No, I can't remember. The displays.
No.
Just one of him and Fiona with a big bright fucking horse.
But like framed photos or?
Yeah, frame photos, yeah.
Oh my god.
There's one of him and Fiona, they look about like 10, besides this big horse, you know what I mean? This big stallion of a thing.
Oh god.
Like with their father, who looks a little considerably younger, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just oh.
There is a photo of, well, you see their mother.
She will not draw attention to that because that is a bad idea, but she
Maeve,
will look.
she is, wow. Let me just get a picture of her, but whoa.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I'll put it like that. Holy fucking shit. Where are we now? Need to go through my folders, but I'll say this: Daniel and Fiona have the same hair as her, that kind of silvery blonde. Do you know what I mean? Fiona definitely more than Daniel. Daniel has his father's kind of goldenness about him. You know what I mean? Like Daniel has a lot more looks of his father than Fiona does. Fiona, I'll put it like this: Fiona and her are the same woman.
Oh. Yeah, she'll. The eyes are just kind of drifting and catching on all sorts of things today, it seems like. But as she finally wanders back over, glancing at the photo, probably lingering on it for a moment. But as she walks back over with a grin, it's just, if I didn't know any better, Daniel McNessa, I dare say I would think you were very practiced at sneaking girls into your room. Like the accusatory little look, like scandalous.
Well, I'll be sleeping on the floor, so just gives a kind of shrug, like, man.
You don't need to sleep on the floor.
Sleeping on the floor is polite.
Sleeping on the floor is sleeping on the floor.
It is.
I thought you didn't need to sleep.
I'll still sleep on the floor. Just by, like, if in case I need maybe an extra hour.
She just kind of looks at him like, you're weird.
Besides, it is polite.
I mean, it's not like you have cooties.
No, but it is good formality. I was raised in a big Fianna household, so you can imagine formalities are everything.
I know.
And plus, it is better to do it anyway, I believe.
It's kind of a perplexed glance, but I know. If my mom was around, she would have a fit. So, same rules. She kind of rubs the back of her head like, you weren't, in anything as big as this, but same rules.
Yes, I imagine so. And finally found it. Fucking that took me a hot minute because my Manicam 4 was being a butt. What?
The reactions in the comments. They're fucking great. Oh wait, I can show you.
I saw them.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you could see them or not.
But that is Daniel's mom.
Oh Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's unacceptable.
I mean, you take a look at Maven. That's what she looks like in that photo with them. And that was... Daniel looks about 16. So, 3 years ago. And... Joe, maybe probably... I don't know what May's reaction is.
She just openly fucking stared at it for a hot second, just like, oh. It got her. It caught her. That is... Jesus.
Daniel will walk over. That is my mother, yes. That is Saoirse McNessa.
She's beautiful.
She was. Very. To be the most beautiful woman on set, as reported to make men reduce to tears.
Just the lean bump type thing. She almost looks like she glowed. See where you get your mane from, though? She kind of like grins aside. So much hair.
Mm-hmm. They both, him and Fiona may have the kind of silvery blonde, but it's Daniel who has kind of the volume, if you know what I
Yep.
mean.
Exactly. No wonder they're calling you a lion now. Like reaches up and like, just flicks a bit of the hair back over his shoulder.
Yes, you could say that. But it, yeah. I'll put it like this, Maeve. You don't need an empathy score to, you know what I mean?
Do it.
To see the sadness in his face as he looks at the photo of his mother.
Oh.
It looks, I mean, he's not like going to break down or, do you know what I mean? But you know heartbreak when you see it. It's just, oh, buddy. Just, oh, do you know what I mean? She was very thin when I left.
Yeah.
Growing weaker by the day. I had thought.
I'm sorry.
I thought that I would make it back so she could see me as a Fianna.
Just a little crease of the brow. She actually reaches for his hand.
I mean, when you take it, he kind of has this surprise, like, oh.
I thought she
We could-
did. I thought it was at least
No.
just long enough to hear the story.
She was dead when I arrived.
So just to make sure I'm not a crazy person,
Mm-hmm.
the story just changed dramatically from what she was told the first time, right?
Yeah. He didn't tell you the whole truth. Which is what he's telling you now, which is, oh yeah, he got to tell her a story. Proud Daniel MacNessa got to, noble. Truth is, she was dead when he arrived. You can see the shame on his face, and the self-hatred, the sadness that he couldn't have the one person he wanted to see him as a Fianna.
It hits her because,
And people are going around telling how brave he was, that he did this and that. And Daniel has just lived with it.
Daniel, I'm so sorry. I guess I didn't hear the whole thing. Was it still? She actually catches herself short. You can tell she stops herself outright. I didn't know. I'm sorry. That's hard. That's really, really hard. She even kind of gives the hand a squeeze just to affirm she means it.
Thank you. But I suppose that's why I do what I do. Maybe if I fight hard enough, I'll make myself feel proud again.
I hope so.
Truth is, I hated my father for telling the tale that I so bravely walked into my mother's room. I hate that he took that away from me. And I went along with it to spare him his pride. Everyone told me it was the best decision.
It's
That
your
is why
story.
That is why I joined the Children of the Oak. Because I wanted to make the choice for myself. I didn't want to be put somewhere. Because it is what is best.
Oh. Of course you didn't. It's your story. Your story to make and your story to tell. No one else's. And you know what? She will. Where all can be sat in this room?
Oh,
Like,
there's like
there's
a chair.
obviously
There's a
this
chair
and
or a
that,
writing
but-
desk and shit like that. Like a little, those spinny chairs?
Classic desk chair.
Yes.
And assuming it's even remotely in reach. She'll like stretch out to pull it over. And honestly, she will lead him over by the hand, let him sit on the edge of the bed. It's his. We'll perch up in the chair. Are the rest of your stories yours?
Yes. Yes. Just
Good.
one that matters the most. The one that I wanted to tell. Everything else is my own. Everything I've done since is my own.
You could tell me.
Tell you what,
How you would have told the story? It'd have been left to you if you hadn't changed it. Your story, or the one.
it is more that he changed what happened when I walked into the room, so I would come across more noble and brave. I never got to tell my mother my story of my passage. How I faced the cliffs. How I proudly took my family name to Stag and swore oaths to bring justice and vengeance upon those who deserve it and to guide kinfolk home who have been lost. I did not do this because of my family name, though it is there and I will not shy away from it. My mother is the one who raised all of us. My father is a great man. He's the Alpha of the Sept. My mother was the one who even held him when he had his moments of weakness. And all she did was tell me that being a Fianna was the one thing in life that we have all strived for. Even if I was from another tribe, she would still be proud. But I could see it in her heart, the joy in her eyes, when I told her I would plan to join the Fianna. That I had chosen to take on the legacy of my blood. And I promised to her that I would tell her. I promised. I promised 3 times. Then you can see it.
Jeeves still got a grip on his hand. Not like overly familiar, just that light hold. And again, it's when the face falls. It's just that little bit of pressure, not even like a full-blown squeeze, just something to anchor him back. If she was that strong, I'm sure she knew that you'd make it. I'm sorry. I wish...
As she was so weak. At the end. It felt like that was the only thing that gave her hope again. And I failed.
You didn't fail.
And I dishonored her memory by allowing my father to make things convenient. And that is my failing. One that I have been atoning for ever since.
There's just kind of a long moment. I know you'll be proud of yourself again one day. I don't know what it'll take. But so many other people are so proud of the things you do. How could you not eventually be proud again? One day you'll realize you're everything she hoped you'd be. She dares again the polite squeeze. Just, hey, buddy.
Just gives you a little soft smile. One day. Although, like both of us, our legacies are intertwined by our blood.
I don't even know what to do with mine.
You will do what I've seen you do, which is once you stop hiding behind your own fears, much like myself, people will follow you. People will rally behind you. People will believe in you.
Yeah, I think that'll be awfully hard. You're gonna cast a pretty long shadow there.
You're Macfion.
It's an attempt at a teasing smile.
And while I may cast a big shadow, you'll have the reasoning and the voice to make sure that those who will refuse to listen will sit down and compromise. That is a valuable trait in either a princess or a queen.
You really think it'll come to that?
You are still a representative of the ruling family, whether you get the throne or not. People will look to you, always. For the second they hear your name, they'll feel inspired by that. Enjoyed. Could you imagine being a young guru? There's no concept of anything, meeting someone of your blood for the first time, and they've heard the stories. You get to see the wonder in their eyes. How could you not be anything but hopeful for them?
I do, and I love seeing the glow in the back of their eyes. I love seeing them so happy. I just wish I had a better idea of how to make sure it never went out. I don't.
There will be moments of doubt in everyone's eyes, but it is in those moments you choose who you will be.
It's always so cryptic. Just the defeated.
Reaches over and, like, instead of taking her hand, he touches her face. You ran down a hill into an army of wormish entities. You charged in and you fought. While it may not be as the poets sing it, you still bloodied and fought. You still gave the kinfolk the true lament of Gaia and brought them home. You did that without any provocation, without any worry about who was watching. You did it because you knew it was the thing to do, to lead, to bring, to charge in. You made sure that everyone else got their people home. And even now, you are still fretting and worrying about them. If anything, Maeve Macfion, that speaks to a woman who has more qualities than faults.
You can see she looks up, and for a second there's that little shade of doubt, because let's face it, she wasn't the only one who charged. She wasn't the only one who fought. She wasn't even the only one who put the dead to rest or carried them back. And it tickles there that idea that it's like, yeah, I did, but it wasn't just me.
No, it wasn't just you. But you still did it. And you're a Cleith, not an Adrian. But when they asked you to come, what did you do? Who pushed for this to happen? Who kept on insisting to the Wormfall that this was a thing? Who did that?
Just a little like the look down at your hands, like I mean, you can see the look on the face. It was me.
So, if anything, Maeve MacFionn, you are the reason that we got those kinfolk home. Now, we did not save them, but we did not leave them into the hands of the worm. And that is just as good. That is just as vital for those families. You did that.
Yeah, this is feeling very one-sided, and I wish I could pep talk you this hard.
I'm a Galliard. It's kind of our job.
Playing with her fingers as she again just kind of like throws the side, like, aw, little smile.
And besides, I want you to make sure that you don't doubt yourself. So I'm putting the extra effort in.
Now, if I could just make sure that you didn't doubt yourself either, we'd be,
Well, perhaps maybe I will stop doubting if I don't see you doubting.
is that how that works?
That's how I'm putting it.
Fine. Then I will totally just figure out how to stop that, and it'll be fine. Little nod, like, yep, that'll work. That's how that works. Thanks, Daniel. My lion. Grinning, reaches over again, like just not pulls on, but kind of like draws up and then drops a little bit of his hair. Are you really gonna sleep on the floor?
Do you want me to?
No. I feel bad putting you out on the floor. I know it's technically proper, but
All right then. Now you look like you need sleep.
okay. Just a little
Can I just
nod.
gestures?
And yeah, she'll climb up out of the little spinny chair. Kind of nudge it back roughly over where it had been. Make sure she like kicks her shoes off and stuff, but honestly, probably just crawls up onto the bed in what she's got on.
He just lies down and just, lies there, really calm. Maeve.
Hmm?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am going to I hope you do not find this inappropriate.
The bra kind of quirks.
Just puts his arms around you, not in any way romantic. It's here. I am the focal point which you can cuddle into, and if you need to cry, cry. But he is just making sure that it's anything, making sure you're comfortable with that.
It's funny because she's like, what? Why? What? And he opens the arm, and I mean, let's face it, Maeve is so used at this point to piling up with kinfolk, or not kinfolk, but piling up with her packmates, everything else. She just almost immediately curls into his side, like just cuddles in. Again, not in any way in a pro, just almost immediately just goes for that comfort cling. And yeah, she does kind of tuck her face into him, not necessarily having another bout of tears, because this has been a lot of talking, and at least for a little bit she's got her mind occupied. She'll probably get snuffly before she passes out, but that's it. It's just clinging for comfort.
And we took anything there, butt face.
Yes.